Huge show on today's DNVR Broncos podcast. We're talking to Brian Baldinger. We are hearing from Justin Simmons to give us a scouting report on Bo Nix and what it means for the Broncos offense and Sean Payton. Henry has got himself into a pickle. He'll explain that. And we are talking about this Bengals team, and it all starts now. Huge show on today's DNVR Broncos podcast. We have some special guests that Henry's bringing on.
Really special.
We have Brian Baldinger, an extra special guest, and we're hearing from Justin Simmons to give us a scouting report on Bo, the state of the Broncos, and what he's up to right now as he joined Broncos X's and O's. We're going to play a little bit of that. And guys, it's that time of the year. We're talking must-win games. Is this a must-win game? And we're going to do it in the Toyota Lounge, driven by your local Front Range Toyota stores. Presented by Bet365. Use that code DNVR365 when you sign up. Deposit $10. Place a $5 bet. Boom, $200 in bonus bucks hit your account right away. Ryan Koenigsberg, Henry Chisholm, you here behind the camera, and Zac Stevens rocking and rolling with you today. No pleasantries today, guys. I hope you're doing well, but we got to jump in. This is a big show, a fun show, a show that I'm really looking forward to. And let's just start with probably the most controversial thing we'll talk about today. Is Monday Night Football a must-win game for the Broncos? Henry, what do you think?
Well, okay, so
topic.
Typically it's good to have my thoughts on the must-win situation once a season. I go by the original definition, which was like from the baseball writers back in the 80s when they first started saying must-win, which means you have to win or your season's over. And I think that the word must has a definition and win has a definition, and when it's must-win, the answer is you do this or it's over. And it would make it a lot harder if they don't win this week. You know, you really want to beat the Eagles. You really want to do that stuff. Is it a big game? Absolutely. But yeah, must win to me means if you lose, pack it up, go home, it's over, and this isn't that.
So simply, it's not for you.
It's not.
Before I ask Ryan, let me know in the Twitter chat. Let me know below if you think this is a must win. I kind of knew Henry was going to go that direction. Ryan, I truly don't know which direction you're going to go.
It's absolutely a must-win game.
Okay.
Oh,
Absolutely, and even by your definition, it still is to me.
Really?
Yes, that is the definition. Now you're talking about mathematically. I'm talking about vibatically.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Have you trademarked that yet?
No, I haven't. Look, you can tell me that, they just have to do this, and this if they lost this game. And yes, you would be right. My contention would be they're just not going to be able to do those things if they lose this game. If you can't beat the Bengals and their sorry defense with a backup quarterback at home on Monday Night Football, then you're not capable of doing all the other things that you would need to do to get back into the mix. Now, can the team evolve and get better over the course of the season? Yes. But there's a very good chance they're staring down the barrel of 1-4 if they don't win this football game. And so to me, it is a must win. And to me, it's kind of like a sliding door scenario. Like, you win this one, I'm picking you to beat the Eagles on the road. I just have a feeling about that game. I have since the second that it was announced. And guess what? Then you have a chance to be 3-2 and really change everything that everyone said about you through the first 3 weeks. If you lose this one, I don't know how you're going to find the right energy to go into Philadelphia and pull that one off. So yes, by the math, no, it's not even close to a must-win game. For me, I'm calling it a must-win game because 1-3 is to me putting you in a position with, again, a loss at home to a team that you're heavily favored against as a reason to just say, you know what, sophomore slump, things aren't clicking, defense not as good as we thought it was, stick a fork in them.
This is 100% a must win. I completely agree with you, Ryan. And it's everything that you said. But guys, this is the Broncos' easiest game on their schedule. And it wasn't when the schedule came out. It wasn't at the beginning of the season because Joe Burrow was the Bengals quarterback. And obviously with Joe Burrow, it's not the easiest game on their schedule. This is easier than the Tennessee Titans game. The Bengals...
I can't get there.
The Bengals defense is terrible. In fact, when you were talking about it, I viewed the Bengals through Aqib Talib's eyes. And remember when he was talking about Harry Douglas, and he goes, this is a sorry team with a sorry defense, with a backup quarterback, and the worst ground game in the NFL. Not only do they have a backup quarterback, they have the worst rushing attack in the NFL, averaging 49 yards per game. That is dead last. Some people were high on, is it Chase Brown coming into this season? That's completely
Have you seen what his line is?
And gone away. And that's part of it, though.
It's like 41 carries for 90-something yards or something crazy like that.
And it's because of his line in front of him, which is terrible, which got Joe Burrow hurt, which has put Jake Browning in a terrible, awful position. I think Jake Browning's a good backup quarterback. With this line, he's a terrible backup quarterback, and we saw that last week, just how much the Bengals turned the ball over. They went up against a really good defense in the Vikings. Well, you know what? The Broncos have a really good defense. They should put him in terrible situations. The Bengals do have one advantage on the Broncos in terms of when you look through their roster. They have one advantage.
T. Higgins?
Wide receiver.
Yep.
Just both. I mean, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins.
Yeah, I guess I was assuming Pat cancels out Jamar.
No, I'm talking about when you compare the Broncos receivers to the Bengals receivers.
Okay.
The Broncos beat them in every single category except for receiver. That's a must-win game right there. Plus, where you are, you dropped 2 games. You should have at least had one of them. You probably should have had both of them. So you don't have the luxury of just accidentally dropping your most winnable game left on the schedule right now. I would argue the easiest game left on your schedule. So, and then Ryan, you mentioned the Eagles game. Well, it's a short week. If you lose this on a short week, going into Philadelphia, and then you're going to London, oh boy, yeah. This is a must-win game for the Broncos.
To me, it's like the path to losing. There's no like acceptable path to losing this game. Like when I think about it, it's like the defense, if they're anything like what they said they were, or what we said they were, or what anyone said they were, then there's just no way they get exposed at the level to give up enough points to lose in like a shootout. And the offense shouldn't be asked to do much of anything to score enough points to win this football game against a bad defense. So like any which way this goes, like it's either a bunch of turnovers or the defense completely breaks their back. Like whatever that would be, it would be so unbelievably concerning that it would just be really hard to come back.
And really quick,
concerning, like damning.
Yeah, 100%. And Donald in the Twitter chat says the Bengals are better at tight end. Well, actually, we have some good news. Mike Kliss said that Evan Ingram is expected to be back at practice this week. If he's back at practice, I would expect him to play. The Broncos have their first practice in just a couple minutes. Henry and I are going to be there to confirm that Ingram is out there. And no, I'll take Evan Ingram over Noah Fant. And that is who their tight end is. Did you guys see the play Noah Fant had last week?
Yeah.
And he's a solid tight end. I'm not trying to put Noah Fant down. Did you see?
I just heard, I was
watching
heard about it? the highlights, and I heard like, Fant, he fumbles.
It wasn't just a fumble. He like tossed the ball on the ground, and the Vikings pick it up, run it. I think they ran it back for 6. That one.
I mean, it's one of the plays that made you think the Bengals must be throwing this game.
Because he literally threw the ball.
Yeah. Right. And there's like all these guys who are just like, how are you making this horrible decision right here?
Yeah. And the Bengals got absolutely crushed last week. Was it 45-10?
Yeah.
I believe. And then not only that, but I saw their best player, Jamar Chase. There's a clip that's going pretty viral right now. He 100% gave up and did not help his teammate out. And if you see the best player on your team do that, that's not a good sign week 3 right now. And now Jamar's going to have Pat on him. And Pat is the best cornerback against Jamar that has ever existed against Jamar. I think Jamar is going to be extremely frustrated this game, and that's just going to continue to trickle down. This Bengals team is bad. Their defense is better than it was last year, but remember, their defense was like historically bad through parts of the season.
They cost Joe Burrow an MVP.
Yeah, 100%. They cost the Bengals the playoffs right there. Now, also good news, you look at their best player on defense, Trey Hendrickson. Well, he'll be going up some of the time against Garrett Bowles. And as we mentioned, I think yesterday on the show, Garrett Bowles is the best pass-blocking left tackle in the NFL so far in this season, giving up a pressure 1.9% of the time. And with Sean Payton, not only does he have Garrett Bowles to help with Trey Hendrickson, but that's really the only major guy that you have to worry about here. This should be a get-right game for everyone. For special teams, for offense, for defense. This should be a blowout. Should is the key word here. But it's not like the Broncos have lost blowouts the past 2 weeks. No, they've been in close games. As we said yesterday, they have not trailed in the fourth quarter. This is 100% a get-right game for the Broncos.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be. Like, you really need to get things figured out this week. Just weird things happen. I mean, didn't the Panthers just win by 30 this week?
Yeah, 30
And
to
what
0.
were we saying about the Panthers a week ago today?
Well, I picked the Panthers to win the division, so I'm feeling good about that.
I had a bet on the Panthers to win that game. So I was also feeling good.
So what are you talking
but
about?
still,
We
the point
knew.
is the consensus is the Panthers are bad, and then they go and do that. And you see results like that every week. It's the NFL. Everybody's good. There's a reason they make the money they make. And if you turn the ball over 3 times, you're probably not going to win the game. But you would think that barring some sort of big issue like that, you should be just fine. Again, like you look at the offense last week, Derwin James is able to kind of single-handedly stop them. And I wouldn't think the Bengals have somebody who's capable of doing that.
No.
I mean, Derwin James, arguably
Right.
the best safety. I mean, defensive player of the year right now.
Right. And so, like, maybe you say, like we were talking with our guy from Locked On yesterday, Jake, who brought up Dax Hill, who's kind of a similar kind of like rover type of player. Is the game plan kind of out? Do teams say, like, here's what Derwin did, we can start putting him in these spots and trying to use him those ways? Like,
Don't do that.
I just can't find a good way to say that the Bengals should win this game. It'd take the Broncos probably just falling apart.
Yeah, and so, like, let me be clear. I'm not guaranteeing a Broncos
No.
victory.
I am.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
I am. And honestly, since I've done that, since the Bo Nix, Sean Payton era, it's hit every single time.
All right,
Wow.
well, I'm not because of what Henry said and because this team has a penchant for blowing games. So I'm not saying that they're guaranteed to win. I'm saying that if they don't win, stick a fork in them.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
and
100%.
Because like you just said, the Broncos would have to fall apart
Yeah.
to lose this game.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to pick the pieces back up
only
before they go on the
thing-
road to Philadelphia on a short week.
The Broncos themselves could play pretty well, and Bo Nix falls apart, and that might be enough to lose it. That would be the one thing that, again, like you're still stuck. You're still looking at 1-5, and in that case, you got to get really hot, and you're lucky with the schedule you hit from then on. But I agree. I mean, if you don't get this one, nobody's picking you to be a playoff team. Like, it'd be crazy to say they're going to the playoffs. And if you win this one, then you're right there, 2-2, and you'll be sitting with the Jags and all those other teams where it feels like you're just as capable as them as getting hot and making the playoffs.
Okay, no. People are saying Zach's jinx coming up. Again, I haven't. This hasn't not hit since Bo Nix and Sean Payton have been together. And there's the damning stat going on around there that the Broncos are 2-8 in one-score games, and 1-7 last year, 1-6 against playoff teams, and they have not proved that this year that it's different. In close games, they're 0-2. I guess 1-2. Technically, the Titans was a one-score game. And against good teams, we think the Colts are a good team. We think the Chargers are a good team. They lost both of those games, so they haven't flipped that narrative. But the one that they established last year, which I can't believe people have not bought in yet, they beat teams that they should beat. and they win those games. Last year, it hit every single week after week 3, or week 2. It hit. You look down the stretch last year, the Broncos beat the Chiefs when they had their backups in. Should have won that game. They did. They beat the Colts when they were playing Anthony Richardson. They beat the Browns. They beat the Raiders. They beat the Falcons. They beat the Panthers. They beat the Saints. Every team that they should beat, they beat. And that I do have confidence in. And I think Broncos Country needs to not be afraid of trusting Sean Payton in these sort of games. The Broncos are the second biggest favorite this week. I believe the Bills are playing, is it the Saints or something? They're like 17-point favorites.
It is Bills
It's
Saints.
insane. So outside of that one, the Broncos are the biggest favorites this week. They're going to take care of business.
Yeah, so like I obviously went on my rant the other day about people giving up on this team, bailing on this team, saying they're already dead, and like I stand by that. But I don't expect anyone to trust this team.
Right.
They haven't done anything to earn trust at this point in the season. So
They haven't trailed in the fourth quarter.
and that's almost makes it hurt more that they're 1-2. I'm just saying they have not earned our trust.
I think against bad teams
they
have.
deserve. Well, deserve is an interesting word. But belief, I think, should still exist. But they certainly haven't earned our trust.
I think that piece goes back to what you said about them being, they're kind of the Chargers right now. They feel like the way that the Chargers were for forever, which is like, just can't quite get over that hump. There's just these bad things happen. They can't finish. Feels like they're going to win. They just find a way not to. And if you, again, maybe that's led the wrong feeling to have. But when you have 2 games like those last 2, it does feel like the Broncos just find ways to lose. And that makes it hard to go into a game, even if they should win, and say like, yep, this is going to be nice and easy, and we're just going to walk right through, which is crazy because like you're 2 missed field goals away from maybe all of us feeling like, yep, this is going to be that easy.
But my point is this Bengals team is not the Colts. It's not the Chargers.
Right.
It's not a good team. It's an awful team. And that's why it is a must win. That's why the stakes are that high for the Broncos, where if they do lose, it means absolute doom for the Broncos, even though it's only week 4. All right, let's continue this conversation after I give a shout out to our friends over at Ent Credit Union, where my older brother always had a Broncos credit card, debit card growing up, and I just thought it was the coolest thing, and I was never able to get one. Well, it's because I never had the right banking partner, and now I know exactly where to go to get that. And this time, they've got not just the Broncos logo, they got Bo Nix throwing a ball on it with his signature on it. It is the coolest debit card that you can get out there, and you can get that by going to ent.com/DNVR. And another cool thing about this card, it's meant for Broncos fans, meaning you're going to get 10% off food and gear on game days at Empower Field using this card. Every 15 swipes on your Broncos checking debit card enters you the chance to win home game tickets, and no surprise fees. So make sure to get one yourself by going to ent.com/DNVR. That's ent.com/DNVR to learn more. Insured by NCUA. Membership required. Account requires associated Ent Broncos debit card.
And shout out to our friends over at Game Time. If you're trying to get to the game on Monday, Game Time's the place to go. Some really good deals. So it looks like it's like $134 to get in.
It just keeps going down.
But also, right now, they have a super deal. Their words, also mine. Row 6, 20-yard line behind the Broncos bench for $388. Compared to $134 to get in, that's pretty ridiculous. I would have thought like $800 for those. I guess people don't want to see Jake Browning. I actually used Game Time yesterday for the Nuggets opener. My mom's in town, had to buy 5 tickets, bought those on Game Time, and I regret to say I did check the other sites to see if the prices were better. Saved $20 a ticket by going with Game Time because they really are the best. 100% authentic tickets, 100% price guarantee, all those things that you could be looking for. You can take the guesswork out of buying NFL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code DNVR for $20 off. Tap, ticket, go, download the Game Time app today.
And shout out to our presenting sponsor, Bet365. Use that code DNVR365 when you sign up. Okay, guys, we're going to continue to break down the Bengals. We're going to hear from Sean Payton later today, which we will hit tomorrow. But before we do that, we had Justin Simmons on the Broncos X's and O's show with Benny Fowler and Dave Logan, and there was some great things for that. So we're not going to be able to play the entire thing. The interview's over 15 minutes long, and then their show's an hour. I highly encourage you to go watch that over at DNVR YouTube. It's under the videos section. You can watch the entire show there. Incredible show. Absolutely love it. But I want to make sure that we heard from Justin Simmons, and he talked about, one, what he's up to now, which I found very fascinating. Two, what he thinks of this Broncos defense. And the third one, he played against Bo Nix last year and had the scouting report on what to do against Bo. And I'm curious what that scouting report is. Let's hear from Justin right now.
You as a rookie got a chance to play with Aqib Talib and guys like Chris Harris. How would they approach this now? Because the last 2 weeks, yes, you've put some more on the defense. You don't want them to give up anything. You talk about them being a top 5 defense right now. You know, they're not looking like that. And even yourself, who's put the C on his chest before, how would you approach these meetings as a player? And what do you say to the younger guys who are maybe missing some things or not flying around to the ball, or most importantly, the penalties that have happened?
Yeah, the penalties, those are tough. And there's some penalties, right? Like where it's like you're both are being competitive and, you know, it doesn't go your way. Like you could take those, but you couldn't with the offsides or the unnecessary roughness, and you're dipping into those types of penalties. Those are things that are avoidable, right? And those will get cleaned up. But that's where I learned it from. Like anything that I've had success-wise in my career has all been a credit to the people that I've played with and I've been coached by. And so you just hit it like a key. Chris, TJ, Darian Stewart. I got to play with DeMarcus Ware for a year. Obviously, Von Miller, Derek Wolfe. Like I could just keep naming Brandon Marshall, like guys, Todd Davis, just left and right, who were always so accountable. And like I remember asking when I first got here, I asked TJ and I asked Stu, I was like, at what point in the season last year, that would have been the year you guys won the Super Bowl, did you guys ever like pout or point the finger or anything? Because the offense at times lulled and just didn't move the ball, score points, but the defense always, every single game came out and executed. It was like one of the coolest things to watch as a fan, getting ready to come into the league. And they were like, absolutely not. Like, if anything, like, how bad do you really want to win? Like, are you just want to win where your stats are good enough and you guys competed well enough so that the talking heads in the sports world are going to say, oh, they did just enough to find a way to win. This is on the offense. Or do you actually want to go win a championship? And that's the way that they attacked practice. You know that. That's the way that they attacked the game day. And they were like, if they're not going to score, we're going to score. Like, if they need a short field, we'll get the interception and give them a short field. Like, that was just the mindset they had. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen because I've never been a part of that before. And it's no wonder that was one of the best defenses to ever touch the football field. And so I've learned so much from those guys, but I think that's the mindset, right? It's like, is our offense going 3 and out, 3 possessions in a row? It doesn't matter. Like, we can get an interception. We're good enough up front to get a strip sack fumble and to set our offense up on a short field. We're good enough in the secondary to get a big hit or a interception to set us up for a short field. And I think, like, that's the mindset. I think that's what this team has. And but you just got to show it on Sunday.
You know, you had a great career in Denver. I think you're one of the most popular players with respect to the fans. You haven't signed to go back into the NFL. You've had opportunities to do so. Have you sort of come to the point in your career where you're not sure you want to play, or is it you're not sure you want to play with certain teams and you want a chance maybe to get back in with the right team, or are you pretty much done?
Yeah, I'm not sure I want to play for certain teams. And that's with all due respect. I realized, like, I'll be 32 in November. Obviously, age always plays some type of role in the NFL, and there's, certain teams have a certain outlook in terms of your value, and then you have a certain outlook on yourself on what you think your value is. There's always that battle, but I definitely want to play. I want to play for a championship contending team. I don't have regrets, but one of my biggest ones in Denver was not getting to the postseason. And so I never got to experience a playoff game. Was hoping Atlanta last year we were going to have that chance, but just fell short. So really being methodical and taking my time and choosing the right team. And obviously they got to choose me back. And so we'll see where that comes. But I'm staying patient, staying ready. And yeah, I want to be able to contribute to a team to go win it all.
You talked about Atlanta, you playing in Atlanta last year. You guys played the Broncos. What was the scouting report on Bo And then also just this offense. You know, Sean is very creative. He likes to move things around. There's a lot of motion, a lot of different personnels. And just what did you think of the Chargers' overall game plan yesterday to, you know, try to speed him up a little bit?
Yeah, it's with a guy like Bo. So going into that week when I was with Atlanta, like just letting these guys know, like obviously I haven't had a chance to play with Bo, but watching the film, you know, knowing Sean, there's going to be a bunch of different personnels, and you can't. It's like telling them like focus on the look, not who's there. Like they're just blank faces. Like, and you tend to get a lot of those plays in different personnel packages because it forces the defense to go base or nickel, which is an extra DB, or dime, which is like an extra DB linebacker. But they're the same plays for the offense, and so they operate at a faster pace and a faster rhythm, and they're looking at the same things. And it can be overwhelming for a defender. I remember that being like the biggest key point. And with Bo, man, I think like he's so athletic and he reads things really quick, and he's just so decisive with the football. And I think he's learning right now, like trusting guys to be where they're going to be. That's why you see Cortland, and I know that didn't happen in the Indy game, but like you see with Cortland, like so many targets, and he trusts him, right? We're seeing Troy Franklin becoming more involved. Like he's starting to get that rhythm with him and trusting him to be where he's supposed to be. But that was like our scouting report going into Atlanta, was just like, hey, this guy's athletic. Try to keep him in the pocket. Not saying that he can't stay in there and make the throws, because obviously he can, but we don't want him to get out, run around, make plays with his legs, run for first downs, then guys leave their assignments early, and then guys are open down the field. That's the last thing you want, right? And I thought the Chargers did a pretty good job at that, just making sure that he wasn't running as much, right? With guys like that, they're still going to find ways to get out. But that was the biggest scouting report. Obviously, we didn't do a good job with that last year in Atlanta. Don't need to bring that up. But yeah, I think there's so much going on there. It could be difficult for a defense to contain all those things. But, you know, the Chargers, when they needed to, did a good job and took the deep shots away and just tried to make them methodically make drives down the field, 12, 15-yard play drives, and sometimes they just couldn't do it. So that's a tough one.
Man, so much there. And shout out to Justin, shout out to Dave, shout out to Benny. Incredible interview. Again, go find that over at DNVR Sports YouTube to listen to the entire thing. But guys, let's just start with what he said at the end there, because I think the scouting report that Justin and the Falcons had for Bo last year is the exact same, and maybe even more of a fact this year. Keep Bo in the pocket, because when Bo gets out, not only is he a threat to run the ball, but then you don't have to worry about the footwork. And we talked about the footwork extensively this week. When Bo's on the run, his footwork is just fine, because just the running takes care of it right there. But you just really want to keep Bo in the pocket. And I'm confident, I think we're all confident, that once he gets his footwork down and just honestly settles down as a player, the footwork's going to be better. The accuracy is going to be just fine. We're not worried about Bo. But until then, if I'm the Bengals this week, I'm making Bo stay in the pocket and making him show me that he has calmed down and that his footwork's calmed down.
I mean, outside the pocket's the only place you really see the explosive plays too. I think that's an important piece for an offense that's really struggled to, in the past, to create explosive plays. This year it's been better. If you can keep Bo in the pocket, we've said the stat, he's 9 of 25, 10 or more yards downfield. That's even less when he's in the pocket. Then you're forcing him to make those short completions and keep the offense on time. And that's where the Broncos have just been awful on offense this year. And so I think that's why, on top of everything else, you keep him in the pocket, because it should just totally shut down the offense.
What's crazy, you go back and watch Bo in college, the short stuff was easy for him.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it's there. I feel like my guess is he's putting too much pressure on himself. I think that he, for whatever reason, you know, you could talk about the top 5 quarterback comments, you know, all of that stuff. Like, I feel like last year he didn't feel like he had to go win the game for the Broncos. And this year he's playing like he has to be the reason that they win. And for whatever reason, I think it's getting him overhyped, unsettled, trying a little too hard.
Yep.
When like throwing the ball accurately is an incredibly natural thing for him.
Yes.
It's something he's been doing his whole life. So I don't know what they got to do to just get him to just lower his heart rate, you know, 20, 30 beats per minute, and just settle down back there and get back to doing what he does best, which is throwing the football accurately.
100%. All right, let's have this conversation with Brian Baldinger. And before we bring Baldy on, and we're going to hit more of the stuff that Justin Simmons said, but I want to give a shout out to our friends over at Bet365. Crazy enough, we got Thursday Night Football tonight, fellas. We touched on this yesterday, but if you want to get in on Thursday Night Football, right now, Bet365, we got the Seattle Seahawks going into Arizona to play the Cardinals. Seahawks just favored point and a half. It's been changing over at Bet365. Guys, I love the Seahawks. -1, -1.5, -2, wherever it ends up settling when you get in. Do you guys disagree? Are you going Cardinals?
Yeah.
I'm tempted to go Cardinals. The Seahawks played really well last week, so give them credit for that.
And the week before.
But I think that changes those lines a little bit to where the Cardinals might be the value now.
Okay, well.
Yeah, but I'm not sold yet.
Let us know in the Twitter chat. Are you rocking and rolling with the Cardinals or the Seahawks? We're going to be able to discuss this tomorrow. And you can bet with bonus bets by using the code DNVR365 when you sign up. Deposit $10, place a $5 bet. You can get $200 in bonus bets when you sign up. But you must be 21 and older, physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call or text 100-GAME. Terms and conditions apply.
Also, shout out to our friends over at Shady Rays. We've all been there. In fact, I was just in this position a couple weeks ago. Left my sunglasses on a plane.
Oh.
And it's just one of the worst feelings. Luckily for me, this wasn't a normal plane. But
So was this the time? No, it was your backpack you forgot that we had to get, and then you also forgot your water bottle
that
we had
crazy.
to go get. Yes,
That was crazy.
So that was
Dude,
twice
you're
on
pretty
one
good
plane
with
that
stuff.
we had to
I
go
guess
get
not
that.
on planes.
That was not the sunglasses.
I don't know. Yeah, so this was just sunglasses I left on a plane. Luckily, it wasn't a normal plane, so I was able to get them back. But if you left your sunglasses on a normal plane, like you're probably not getting those things back.
You're SOL.
Exactly. If that was a pair of Shady Rays, which it should be,
Yep.
most stylish sunglasses on the market, then you'd just be able to get a new pair. Or you're clumsy, you like sit on your sunglasses. I've seen people do that. Thankfully, I've never done that. They'll send you a new pair. Or if you are unlucky and someone steals your favorite pair of sunglasses, they'll also replace them. So hit up our friends over at Shady Rays, and they are giving you an exclusive offer right now. Use the code DNVR for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
All right, I heard the chime. That means we have our guy, the legend, Brian Baldinger, join us. Baldy, what's going on?
Well, good morning to you guys. It's good to be with you. I guess we kick off week 4 tonight, so we're just cruising along here.
We are cruising along. And before we jump into Broncos Monday Night Football against the Bengals coming up, Baldy, the Broncos have lost in heartbreaking fashion back-to-back weeks. They have not trailed in the fourth quarter this entire year until last-second field goals with no time left have they lost. So I want to ask you kind of big picture, should the Broncos be encouraged that they're, 2 last-second field goals away from being 3-0, or concerned that they can't close out games against good teams?
Well, the two teams that they have, been beaten by are undefeated. So, you are what your record says you are, all that kind of good stuff. I mean, I think they play good football, but this is 60 minutes now. Like you just can't, if you want to be great, if you want to win the division, then you can't let these games slip away. This was a division game last week. They had the lead. They couldn't finish it out. Yes, the field goal beat them at the end, but they went down the field and made the plays against them. So you can talk about the defense and the players and the coach and what they did last year, but they're not getting off the field right now when they have a chance to get off the field, and they're allowing these other teams to be in position to kick these field goals. So to me, it's clearly on the Broncos right now. And can they dig themselves out of it? Of course they can, but it's on them right now to finish these games out.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been so tough to watch because, like you said, the defense for 50 minutes this week looked really good, but then push came to shove, and like you said, they just could not get off the field. And that was kind of the calling card of the Broncos defense when they won the Super Bowl. The last great defense that we had here in Denver is in those moments they show up. Is that something that you think is learned? Is there something schematic, or what's going on there where it seems like everything changes and offense are just able to move the ball at the end of the game?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes teams just innately get a little conservative and they kind of aren't putting the same level of pressure that they did because they don't want to give up the big play, but they're allowed them to chip away. The Colts did that. Obviously, the Chargers just did that. But, in the Chargers case, they gave up the touchdown to, Keenan Allen. Then they got the ball back. The offense didn't do much with it. and it allowed, Justin to go down or Herbie to go down there and do it again. So that was 2 plays. I mean, they had a chance. I mean, 3 guys had a chance to get to Herbert before the Keenan Allen touchdown, and they couldn't get him to the ground. They couldn't shake him up. And, and the ball was, the defense was perfect, and yet Keenan Allen still comes up to play. So you could credit the Chargers with making the play, but I thought Zach Allen had a shot at Herbert right there. Mm-hmm. I thought Nick Bonito did. I think they had guys right there that could have, prevented that touchdown throw to Keenan Allen to get it to, 2020.
Baldy, last week the Broncos had 4 opportunities with the ball in their hand to extend a lead and potentially put the game away. This last week they had 2 opportunities with the ball in their hand to extend a lead and potentially put the game away. There's a lot of finger pointing going on in Denver about whose fault that is, that they weren't able to get points on those drives. When you watch the film, what do you see as why they're kind of stalling out as the game goes on?
Well, I think that, it started, I thought that the Chargers defensive tackles, played really well against them and kind of bottled things up in the run game. You want to try to bleed the clock, and they weren't getting any sort of chunk runs against them. I think that's where it starts. I mean, you got to win up front. And so that'd be I'm not looking to put blame on any particular group because it's a team effort, but I thought Jamari Caldwell and Tyir Tart, I thought those guys won the battles up front late in the game last week.
Baldy, your expertise and an area that's actually not getting much blame is the Broncos offensive line when it comes to pass protection. By so many metrics, they're graded out as the best pass protecting offensive line in the NFL. When you watch the film, is that what you've seen from them? Are they an elite unit for Bo up front when it comes to the pass game?
Well, I think Bo's movement helps. I think a lot of the design of Sean, some of the play action passes that he gets. I mean, I watched some of the play action passes where you're faking the toss and you're bootlegging. Some of the things that he does, it's the same thing Drew Brees did. And sometimes they get, the separation between the defensive line or anybody that's chasing after the quarterback, there's a 10-yard separation. And that's, some of that is play design, which really helps the offensive line as opposed to some of these other teams that are 7-step drops and not much play action. And they're, they can really, start, winning some one-on-ones up front and putting immediate pressure. I think the play action passes that Sean designs, helps their offensive line a great deal.
Yeah, I want to flip to the run game too with the offensive line. Broncos have been really explosive in the run game, but just not consistent. There are too many runs that are stopping behind the line of scrimmage or at the line of scrimmage. I'm curious if you see any trends there. What do you think of J.K. Dobbins, too, who I love this stat. He's on pace to have the most rushing yards by Broncos running back since Clinton Portis in 2003.
Wow.
Yeah,
well,
pretty good.
Started off, J.K. started like this last year, for the Chargers. And then, the injuries caught up to him. This is a kid that he's from, he's from this small town in Texas. I don't know why I'm blanking on it right now, but he went to Columbus, Ohio. He started as an 18-year-old freshman day one. He is a talented player. His only knock has been really health, whether it was in Baltimore or last year with the Chargers, is, injuries have caught up to him. But his ability to make people miss to see a moving hole and be able to hit it the way that he does, like he's got all the skills to be an elite back. And so it's just a question of can he sustain it over a long part of the season right now.
Baldy, here's our question of the day. The Broncos are 1-2. They've got the Bengals at home on Monday Night Football. They got the Eagles after that. Then they're going to London. Does that all make this a must-win game for the Denver Broncos?
This is a get-right game. Cincinnati, they turned it over 5 times last week against Minnesota. The quarterback did not play well. They should have gotten beat, honestly. They should have gotten beat by Cleveland week 1. They should have been beaten by Jacksonville week 2 if the guys could catch, and either one of those teams. Like the record says they're 2-1 and they got smoked by Minnesota. But I don't think this is a very good football team. Like I think the offensive line is very average. Defensively, I think they've got a lot of issues. Like this is a bounce-back game and a get-right game. The Eagles are a good team. They're undefeated. They play Tampa this week. But they could easily be 0-3 if the Rams could make a kick, if CeeDee Lamb could catch the football in the fourth quarter. So, but that's the league right now. You're talking about your team being 1-2, and it's coming down to the last drive last-second field goals, but that's it around the league. But this week, Monday night, Cincinnati, this is a get-right game. To get to 2-2, and, okay, you're like, you get through September, you're 2-2. Now you got, okay, we know what our issues are. We see them. Now let's go correct them. Let's get off the field. Let's go finish these drives and not allow these teams in. Like, this is the time to start stacking some wins right now.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Baldy. And when it comes to these Bengals, I view them the exact same way that you do. I think without Joe Burrow, they're a really bad team, and the Broncos have to take care of business. So, what has to happen for the Broncos to drop this one? Like, when I look at the Bengals, I see like Jamar and T have to combine for 300 yards or something like that. Like, what do the Broncos have to worry about in order to lose this game on Monday night?
Well, I mean, Jamar had 14 catches against Jacksonville 2 weeks ago. They threw to him 17 times. It's almost impossible to think that you could throw to a receiver 4 times a quarter and he catches almost every one. And that's with T on the other side. So that's who they are. But I would think that Patrick Surtain is going to enjoy the matchup with Jamar. Like, that should be worth the price of admission. I don't know if it's going to be play to play, but it should be a big chunk of the game. And so I'd say, put my best player on your best player, and let's just see what happens. We'll live with it. But honestly, Minnesota has got a good defense. They throw a lot of junk at you with how they play their fronts and how they disguise their coverages. I think Denver could line up and just shut this team down. Like, I don't think they have to get fancy or anything. I think physically, if you look at the takeoff of Nick Benito right now and Jonathan Cooper, like, they probably have the best tandem of get-offs in this league. And you're looking at 2 tackles in Cincinnati that really struggle against guys that have fast takeoffs, and Zeus and Amelia's on the other side. So to me, I can't see any discussion where the Bengals have a chance in this game on Monday night.
I love that. And Baldy, we're going to let you run on this one. Some people in Broncos country are starting to be concerned about Bo Nix and the overthrows that he had and his footwork. And is he going to develop into the guy that Broncos country wants? Are you starting to worry about Bo? And if not, why aren't you?
I think anytime a quarterback misses throws, you got to ask why he's missing a throw. Is it fundamentals? Is it why isn't he being accurate? Why is he sailing the ball? I saw it from Caleb Williams. You talk about 4 touchdown passes, but I saw him, miss a bunch of those. I saw Michael Penix was awful, setting his feet and making throws the other day. At some point, you have to become consistent, and you got to be able to throw the ball through the tire. And, so I'm not concerned right now because I saw him make a lot of great throws last year. But I think it comes down to really the footwork and the fundamentals, and that has to be done during the week, every week. It doesn't matter if it's just a warm-up drill or if it's a Saturday morning walkthrough, whatever it is. Like, it has to be a consistent thing. And I would say if Bo Nix is troubled by any of it, he should go back and watch Drew Brees throw the football and watch him go through progressions. You can always learn by watching that guy throw a football.
There's nothing better than a little Baldy's breakdown to get us going through the week. Baldy, we appreciate your time. Enjoy football this week, and we'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good, guys. Enjoy it Monday night.
Right on. Absolutely love talking to Baldy there. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the footwork is an issue. Of everyone on this panel, including Baldy, Baldy's second most confident that the Broncos are going to beat the Bengals, which in turn helps my confidence.
Good.
Good.
The Bengals are bad, man. They're
terrible.
bad.
Yep.
And from a Broncos perspective, I love that Joe Burrow's not playing. After seeing how electric last year was, though, and obviously the Broncos just on the wrong side. If Sean goes for 2 and the Broncos get the 2, then the game is different at the end. But man, I'm bummed that we don't get an electric showdown between Jamar Chase and Pat Surtain with Joe Burrow at quarterback, with Bo going against Joe.
The Broncos were 3-0 like they should be. I'd say, yeah. Like,
Yep.
give me the prime time now. They need a slump buster.
Well,
bad.
Exactly.
And that's why overall I'm happy that that's the case. But the game was so electric last year, and I love the way that Bo got up for that game, especially when the Broncos need it the most at the end.
Yeah, I just go out there. Bo has a little 22-25 game, 225 passing yards, couple touchdowns, no picks. Run the ball well. Hold them under 10 points. It would be so nice if we just had like a nice, relaxing, hang out, watch the football game night on Monday.
Just have the Bengals do exactly what they did last week. Get
That'd be fun.
5 turnovers off of them. 5. A couple of them for
3
scores.
defensive touchdowns given up.
An insane amount. If it was 3, yeah.
so.
That sounds about right.
pick-
45-10.
2 pick sixes and a scoop and score, I think.
My goodness, yeah, the scoop and score was thanks to Noah Fant there. So we'll dive into the game even more tomorrow. Want to get back to some of the things that Justin Simmons said, and before we do that, just want to give a shout out to our presenting sponsor, Bet365. Use that code DNVR365 when you sign up, and you're going to get $200 in bonus bets, and you can do that for tonight's Thursday night football game. You can do that for the full slate of college football on Saturday, including CSU and CU taking on BYU up in Boulder. All the games on Sunday, and then Monday Night Football as well with the Broncos. All right, guys, 2 more things that I want to get to, and anything else you want to get to from Justin's interview before we bring on Hank's secret special pickle guests that we'll talk about. But one of the things that Justin Simmons said was that just really stood out was the defensive mindset that the Chris Harris, Aqib Talib, the no-fly zone had from the Super Bowl 50 team that kind of bled over into Justin Simmons' time with the Broncos was just the defense had a different mentality. And that's something that really stuck with me because they didn't care what the offense did. They essentially said, like, if the offense is going to go score no points for us, we need to go win the game ourselves. Not just stop the other team, but put points on the board so the offense doesn't have to do anything. And that really is what takes a defense from being really good to being just fantastic. And I hope that this Broncos defense, they've kind of got to get right themselves, and then I hope they get this to take them over the top.
Yeah, I mean, that defense was built different.
Yep.
And I would love to see this defense start to take on some of the personality of that defense, but the personnel is very different. I also think it helped that Peyton Manning was the quarterback on the other side, because as soon as he wasn't, the finger pointing started to become a little more prevalent. But it's hard to point the finger at Peyton Manning. And yeah, I mean, putting points on the board, like when Baldy says this is a get right game, to me that means stuff like that. Like the defense gets a little bit of confidence with a touchdown, a strip sack that goes back, or a pick six, for Pat Surtain jumping in front of Jamar Chase. Like those are kind of the things that this team needs right now. You see it happen a lot in like college football where you just have, little sisters of the poor on the schedule, and you just get to run it up, and you get to bring in the walk on, and he gets a touchdown, and everyone's patting him on the back. Like this team really needs that right now. This fan base really needs that right now. So it's football is really like about momentum, and the Broncos' momentum is swinging in the wrong direction right now. They got to swing it back the other way, and you get a pick six, you get 200 yards and 2 touchdowns and no picks from Bo, or 225, 250. Like it just starts the momentum moving back in the right direction.
And then you scare other teams too. Like you want the Eagles coming into this saying like, I don't know, you throw it Riley's way, he'll make a play on the ball, or if we try to run the ball to Cooper's side, it's going to get blown up. Like you want those plays that you've made to be in other teams' heads. And right now you just haven't quite made those plays. And you hope that they get to the point of that no-fly zone defense. There's no reason not to be thinking about it and hoping for it and trying to speak it into existence. But the truth is, like, Nick Bonito is not Von Miller. And Jonathan Cooper is not DeMarcus Ware. Now, if Nick Bonito goes and has 18 sacks this year, or Cooper wants to go get we can hope that those guys get to that level, but you're still waiting. And you have a couple spots where I would say Derek Wolfe, Malik Jackson, they're not Zach Allen. And I would say Aqib Talib probably not Pat Surtain. So you do have a couple spots where you're winning, but I think the gaps are maybe a little bit wider when you look at where Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware, the Hall of Famers, were.
I think that Nick Benito's, did he get a half sack for that or no?
He ended with 2 sacks.
So did they give him a sack on the?
Yes.
I think that's the closest anyone has looked to Von Miller since Von Miller in his prime.
I think that's fair.
That's what I was going to say. Obviously, he's not Von Miller.
Not just on the Broncos, like in the NFL.
I agree. And it's hard to say in this town, compare him to Von Miller because he's not a Super Bowl 50 MVP. He hasn't won a Super Bowl yet. But his get-off is insane. Jonah Ellis said earlier this week that he has the best get-off in the NFL. There's no doubt about it. His get-off is crazy, and you said he needs to get to 18 sacks to be the Von Miller. Well, 3 games this year, he's on pace for 17 right now, and he is scary good. And I think he is approaching that like Von Miller good conversation, which is unbelievably exciting, especially with what you said about the other guys, how some of the guys on this team are better than guys at their respective positions on that Super Bowl.
The gaps are just a little bit bigger when you look at the others. Gap between DeMarcus Ware and Jonathan Cooper is probably a little bit bigger than the gap than Surtain and Aqib. But I do think that this could be one of those weeks for Nick, though, where you say, if he goes out there and has 3 sacks, how does that change how the Eagles have to defend him the next week?
Yeah. Well, and I just think my point was that he is closing that gap on Von, which is so
I'm not
exciting.
arguing at all.
Really quick, one more thing. Hit us with a thumbs up before we move on. Really helps us out, and we really appreciate it.
I have one something too.
Yeah.
It's the Riley Moss hate is
wrong.
It's wrong for sure, but it's going to get louder this week because he's going up against a guy who's making what? $17 million more a year than he is. It more than that? How much is he making more a year?
He's at 28, I believe. 28 mil, 27
Riley's
mil.
at what, like 2?
Something like
Rookie
that.
deals,
yeah.
He's gonna be going up against a guy making $26 million more than him this week. He's gonna win. Gonna win a lot.
Yeah.
I actually think Riley's going to correct where the fan base views him because I think he's going to have a good game.
I think well, the thing is he's been having good games.
Yes.
But I mean, I think he's going to have in this game going against T. It's going to be a get back game.
Either T's going to get his wins, and everyone thinks that like Riley Moss is supposed to give up a 0% completion rate.
Yeah.
He's opposite Riley Moss. The other teams are going to focus on him. He's allowing under 50% completions when the ball comes his way. He maybe made the play of the game last week, diving to break up a pass that ended up in an interception. I don't know what's going on. That everyone is just ready to throw him to the wolves.
It's because he gets thrown at more than any quarter in the NFL, or has so far this year, and in theory that should continue. And so it's just easy to go back and circle the catches, because even if it's 40% of 20 targets is a lot more than 70% of 8 targets.
But I think Riley's going to have a great game this week. I'm gonna say pick 2, and I'm gonna say that this going against T. Higgins again is going to be what gets fans back on his side, as they should be, as you pointed out already.
I think these next 2 weeks are the 2 hardest games for Riley.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Hopefully the results are good, but I do think the 2 toughest games for him.
Also, if you're ever asking the question, why isn't this guy playing over that guy? It's because the guy that's playing is better than him.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, we're all Team Riley here, that's for sure. One more thing from Justin, just because a lot of people in the Twitter chat were saying it. They want him to return to the Broncos, and that with Sean Payton as a head coach, that just will not happen, whether it's right or wrong. But man, I hope he ends up with the Lions. That's my hope. NFC, a Super Bowl contending team, where he could be a playmaker on that side.
Just play golf every day. Not that he can't go play football, but like, why would you?
To win a Super Bowl. I mean, the fact that he's never made the playoffs. God, when he signed with the Falcons last year, everyone was like, okay, go win that division. Go make the playoffs for the first time. We're so pumped for you. And then the Falcons weren't able to do that. That was such a bummer.
Yep.
So I get wanting to make a playoffs.
Yeah. I just want to play golf.
Yeah. He's just got to wait for an injury somewhere, and you'd imagine he'll be top of the list when it happens.
Yep, exactly. All right. Henry, tell us what happened earlier this week.
Yeah. So I got a nice email from nice people going on a podcast, and I was like, sure, I'll hop on the podcast. researched the podcast a little bit, but missed one important detail, which is that
what was your research?
I Googled the guys. I Googled the names. I saw that they were writers. I saw that one is a former quarterback coach. I saw that there had been talk about this podcast. And it's like, okay, yeah, just jump on. Didn't realize that they were puppets.
Well, yeah, and really quick, to be fair, I sent you multiple screenshots
Oh, yeah.
of
And I had
puppets
seen.
on their thing.
And I had seen, I just thought they were like puppets of the people. Like you AI'd the puppet, right?
Yeah, like a logo.
Exactly. Like we have our little cartoon heads. I'm myself not a cartoon. I'm a human.
Yep.
So I, like many before me, went on the show not realizing that I was about to talk for 45 minutes to puppets, which is actually kind of a great time. But these puppets actually, so they had a show with Pac-Man Jones. That was on like the Bally Sports out there. And so I've gone back and watched some episodes. Good stuff, including like they had T. Higgins on one week. And T. Higgins' reaction to Pac-Man inviting him onto a show that he did not know included two puppets sure was fun to watch. So I talked to the puppets for a bit, and then I should say, number one Bengals podcast, worth checking out. I know Dwayne upstairs has subscribed and has watched a couple episodes. They're funny puppets.
They are, actually.
I also sat down with the puppets, Daddy-O MacDuke and Dr. Haji from the number one Bengals show and a bunch of other stuff. They've been like big YouTubers in the Bengals world. Shouldn't compare anybody to Perna. Perna's his own person, but kind of like OG Bengals YouTube from back in the day.
Yeah.
Perna's literally his own person.
He is
person.
a human. Yeah. A little caveat there. So yeah, talk to some puppets.
And let's hear a little bit of
A little
it.
snippet. And if you want to see the whole thing, join the supporters club. This whole interview is going up for all of our supporters.
Exactly.
Big game on Monday. How are you guys feeling about it?
Well, obviously we are terrified.
Yeah.
We are vomiting all over the place.
Yeah.
And we are trying to finalize a trade for a quarterback that will not throw 3 or more interceptions in primetime.
Do you guys actually want Russell Wilson to be on your team in 2025?
We'll take what we can get, Henry.
Yeah. He's proven he can play. Look, he's lost a little bit of the luster.
Mm-hmm.
I know he lost his personal, life coach, and his life kind of went down after that. He got a little chubby. He got married. Obviously, that happens. Dr. Hoji has gotten chubby after every marriage.
Yeah, that's how I ended up here. So I'm at 14 marriages, Henry.
But Russell Wilson...
No.
Do the math. 12 pounds I've gained with each marriage, at least.
Well, shoot.
Do the math.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I mean, that's a lot of math to be doing.
And
It's an offense, in other words, Henry, that has the capability. It has the ability and the potential to be explosive. And when it ignites, watch out.
Yeah.
But that hasn't happened this year yet.
No.
Now, it could happen any game. It's kind of like Bengals fans are waiting for it because sometimes they just surprise you. Now, if the Broncos happen to be on the wrong end of that ignition, well, watch out. It's going to be ugly. But I don't know. We don't know when it's going to happen. And it could happen with Jake Browning because it happened with Jake Browning last year. They looked great.
No, they look great. And that was 2 years ago. He had a few games where...
They look great. Henry, I do think there's one more thing you guys should worry about. And that is that the Bengals defense has displayed a remarkable and alarming amount of energy and youthful vigor and enthusiasm, even when losing. And they've been doing a lot of picks and a lot of really hot kind of pressure. And I do think that could shake things up. Shake it up, especially for one of the not so great quarterbacks.
Yeah, I think they could get some turnovers, but I'll say this, Henry. The IQ disparity between Sean Payton and Zac Taylor is about as high of a disparity as you get in
I disagree.
a matchup.
I disagree.
Sean Payton is clearly an offensive mind, very smart offensive mind. And
So is
Zac Taylor is a pretty nice guy.
Big game on Monday. How are you guys feeling about it?
Come on now. Could you imagine being told that you're just a nice guy by a puppet in a disrespectful way?
Yeah.
I'm so disappointed that you got that experience and I didn't.
I know. No, I'm actually really... I told them, please have me back on. I think I might get to go back on. We'll see.
Yeah, because honestly, in my own way, I'm a puppet too, And so we're all really just puppets in the end. That was like, those guys are legitimately hilarious.
Yeah.
They are, yes.
Yeah.
No, like I've been going back and watching. Like they had Vontez Burfict on, which is just such a fun difference in people. Puppet versus person. Like these happy little puppets versus a very mean NFL player who hurt a lot of, like, look at what he did to Antonio Brown.
It just, the concept sounds so dumb.
Right.
The execution is so good.
It is.
I can't imagine doing our show for an hour, but it's not me sitting here. I have to do a puppet up here and talk.
I was thinking about that too. Like, I want to know, like,
it's impressive.
where, like, are they sitting in a chair normally, and then, or like they have to like duck down?
So I have some of the details. I feel like
Wait,
it's not my place to. It's not my place.
I want to know.
No, you can't
Okay.
reveal magician's tricks.
So if you want to watch that, make sure to become a supporters club member, and then you'll get those the Hall of Fame level, and you will get that. All right, let's hit some super chats that we've got, and we're gonna do that over and over time. Go to thednvr.com to watch the rest of the show online over at thednvr.com. We've got a super chat coming in from our friend, 2 of them from Colin. Thank you, Colin. Says, can we watch players walk in from the parking lot pregame?
Yes, you can. If you go down, it's the tunnel on the left if you're looking north. So that would be the west side.
Yep.
West side tunnel in front of the stadium. They have like their little plaza and stuff. That's where they walk in. That's where everybody's hanging out, getting autographs.
Southwest side.
Yeah, it's just the south side.
South side, but it's like, so they have like the 2 tunnels. It's the west tunnel on the south side.
There's a tunnel on every corner.
Yeah. Because you don't want to go in the other one because that's the other team buses. And then you get stuck with like,
There's only one tunnel on the south side.
Okay, well, it is on the southwest corner.
Southeast.
No.
Is it southwest? Okay,
Yeah.
south
Yeah,
side.
yeah.
Yeah, you can watch players walk in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's close to where the what are the busts called?
The Ring of Fame.
Just the Ring of Fame
Right,
busts and the big horse.
Yep. A little more west of that.
Just to the west.
We've just gone too far.
I
It's on the
really
southwest
think
side of the stadium.
think it's the east side.
Okay.
Huh. I'll have to find out.
Pizza bet?
East, or you think it's east of the Bronco statue?
I think it's on. Yeah, I mean, I think it's the southeast side of the stadium.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So next one coming in, you'll be able to see if you go to the south side. Next one coming in from Robert Potts, who says, "Am I the only one who has no issue with the Hufanga penalty? We need dogs. He is a dog. Sometimes dogs, especially safeties, are going to be aggressive, set the tone, and sometimes get the calls."
We're going to say the same thing.
There's no need to set the tone at the end of the game.
Yep.
Set the tone at the beginning of the game. That's how
Akeem
setting
Talib,
works. Yes.
that's a dog. He got 2 personal fouls on the first drive of the Super Bowl.
One of them only cost a yard.
I can live with that.
Yes.
I cannot live with it in crunch time at the end of the game when a team needs to score a touchdown to tie, and you let them go from the 35 to the 50, essentially, taking away 15% of how far they had to go.
No need to set the tone
Was
with
it on
30
third
seconds
down
left.
too, or no?
It was after they had converted
Yes.
a third down. So it was 3rd and 9. They converted it for a first down.
And then gave him 15.
35 to the 50.
In Carolina says earlier in the Twitter chat, says that was such a soft call. You can't pick a guy up.
By the book.
In the NFL, you cannot do what he did. Pick him up off his feet and then slam him
I
on
think
the
they
ground.
added that like 5 years ago too.
Recent.
Yeah,
Pretty
so
recent,
made
it is
it
fairly
very
recent,
clear.
but
Yeah.
it was clear. So you just can't, especially Hufanga is such a he's really like the total package in terms of like being a dog, because you're absolutely right, he is a dog, but then also such a smart player. I would have not expected that from him.
Maybe
out
a
there.
little frustration about giving up the first down in the first place. Like,
Yeah, that
Setting
could
the
be.
tone, scaring the Bengals.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. It was all to scare the Bengals, maybe even the Eagles in a couple of weeks. That's going to do it for us today. Drop us with a thumbs up on the way, or hit us with a thumbs up on the way out. We appreciate it. And we are back tomorrow, a Friday show, because the Broncos are playing on Monday night. So tune in with us tomorrow. We're going to be hearing from Sean and Bo and giving our picks. We'll see you at noon.
God bless Bo Nix.
We all silly like the mayor.